Have you read part two of The Greatest Salesman in the World? And this is the book by Og Mandino. And hey, in case you don't know me, my name is Jason, and we've been going through the success puzzle of Bob Proctor's 12-month-long coaching program. However, I want to talk to you about a passage that I was reading in The Greatest Salesman in the World, and this is part two, the end of the story. So you may have read the first one, and if you haven't, I do highly recommend this book. It's by Og Mandino, and this is about the principles of success. So this is why I wanted to talk from the book today, because it's going hand in hand with Bob Proctor's success puzzle. And so for the first vow of success, let me just read that. It said, I was born to succeed, not to fail. I was born to triumph, not to bow my head in defeat. I was born to toast victories, not to whimper and whine. What happened to me? When did my dreams all fade into a gray mediocrity where average people applaud each other as excellent? And this is really interesting because this is how a lot of us are actually approaching success in life. As if, oh, something's wrong with me, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. Now, a lot of this has been designed from generations through the school system. If you've been through the public school system, you know it's not worth anything, especially in America. It is not a good school system. It doesn't teach you how to be successful. It teaches you how to be a slave in a world that we don't even live in anymore. Like, no one is going to go get a job at GM, GMC, the Ford companies. You know those jobs that used to be real big back in the day of our parents? No one wants those jobs anymore, and nobody really cares about them. That's why most of those companies have robots and machines doing most of the stuff. So with that being said, like, what is stopping us from being successful? And I want to read this next paragraph because it was really key to me, and I started doing some research on it, and this is how we're going to break down this video. He said, it is time to study the reflection in my looking glass until I recognize that the most harmful enemy I have is me. At last, in this magic moment with my first scroll, the veil of self-deceit is beginning to lift from my eyes. Now, this is really interesting because he said something that was very, very true. Most of us are not aware that our biggest enemy in every aspect of our life, whether it's happiness, health, or wealth, is ourselves. And let me just give you an example. My biggest enemy when I was 600 plus pounds was me. It wasn't the VA, it wasn't Chantel, it wasn't my mom, it wasn't my brothers, it was me. I was choosing to eat unhealthy. I was choosing to not recognize all these years I've been eating the exact same way, and it kept leading me down the same path of getting sicker and not feeling good. And when I looked in the mirror, as he says here, he has studied the reflection in his looking glass. As I looked in the mirror myself and started studying the reflection of my eating habits, I realized, whoa, I can't get mad at anyone but myself. I have to change this. Only I can change this. It used to be days where back time ago when I was 600 plus pounds, I would blame, my family genetics. I was not taught how to eat healthy. And the truth is, not many people in this world know how to eat healthy, or people will be healthy. Even here in South Africa, people do not know how to eat healthy. In Colombia, people didn't know how to eat healthy. In Panama, people didn't know how to eat healthy. In Mexico, people don't know how to eat healthy. In South Korea, when I lived there, people didn't know how to eat healthy. This is a real current thing. And the reason why I'm saying this is because we have to start realizing we all live on the same planet. There's no such thing as I'm American, somebody's South African, Mexican, or something else. We're all having a human experience. Sorry about that. The cord got to get in the way of the camera. We're all having a human experience, and we're all living on the same planet, the planet Earth. Nothing is different on this Earth. No one is better than the next person. There are just specific things that some people are doing that other people refuse to do. There are people here that, no matter where you're in the world, there's people that are 600 plus pounds. It's not that they can't lose weight or release weight, like I like to say. The truth is, they are not doing what it takes to be successful in releasing weight. It's just that's the truth. And so we have to start looking at the fact that everything that our problems in our life is usually going to be because of us. There's not anyone else really causing problems in our lives anymore. And, I know, like, you still see a lot of this racist crap on the internet and stuff like this. The truth is, There are not very many racist people left in the world. I've been traveling the world now for the past couple of years. There's not very many people left. However, there's a lot of people who are bigots. I'm a bigot. You're most likely a bigot. All of us have bigotry that we've been programmed with in our lives. Meaning there's things that we think supposed to look a very specific way. And when it doesn't look that way, we get angry, we get upset, or we get judgmental. I was guilty of this all the time. I remember when I had met a guy in a vegan restaurant not yesterday, I'm sorry, 2 days ago. And he was like, "Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'll never go vegan." And I started laughing at him because I was like, "Hey man, I remember where I was sitting on my recliner and I told Chantel, I was like, hey, I know vegetarian and vegan is supposed to be healthier, but I'll never do that." And look at me now. I live a complete plant-based lifestyle, something I couldn't even imagine back in those days, and I do it now. And so that's just why I want to explain that to you. But let's go really deep into this reading. I want to break down something that really stood out for me in this reading. And it was this sentence here. "At last, in this magic moment with my first scroll, the veil of self-deceit is beginning to lift from my eyes." And I read that a couple times and I was like, what does he mean by the veil of self-deceit? And so if you know me, Jason likes to define words. This is something I really believe all of us should start doing now. We need to redefine a lot of these words. A lot of these words do not have the meaning that they used to have. And let's just take one of the most very, very basic examples of this. Let's take the word gay. Now, I believe it's still a derogatory word now. I don't really know. However, it used to mean happy. Like, how does a word that used to mean happy, joyful, delighted go to a derogatory term? We have to start defining words for ourselves. We can't keep letting society define the words for us. We can't keep letting our previous generations define the words for us. What used to be successful for my mom and her generation is not success in this generation. What I consider success right now is not going to be success for the next generations after me. We have to understand that we all are living in different worlds, especially when we're coming up as a new generation. And this is one of the reasons why you see all of this like generational hatred, like, oh, millennials, oh, the baby boomers, oh, Generation Z, X, Y, whatever. And it's like, it doesn't make any sense. It is a mental disorder we need to get away from. We need to quit judging people. We need to quit thinking the younger, newest generations should be living how we live. They should be going through the suffering we went through. It doesn't make any sense, and we got to stop this. So one of the things that I was looking up self-deceit. And I was like, what does this word mean? I can honestly say I didn't know what it means. And so when I looked it up, let's see where we at here. It said self-deceit. Self-deceit, it said another term for self-deception. I'm not saying anything. And then it gives a sentence. A true friend helps us break through the barriers of self-deceit. Yet again, they have not defined what this word means. And if this is the veil that's covering our eyes, if all of us are being covered in a veil of self-deceit, we need to understand what this word means. Meaning we need to increase our awareness around it so we can no longer have this bothering us. If you don't increase your awareness of how to eat healthy, how can you ever get healthier or release weight? This is one of the things why diets don't work. So then it keeps going, and I kept looking, and it says self-deception is a process of denying or rationalizing away the relevance, significance, or importance of opposing evidence and logical argument. Self-deception involves convincing oneself of a truth so that one does not reveal any self-knowledge of the deception. Okay, that's a lot of words. It's saying a lot, making some very good sense here. However, this is very confusing. If I haven't been studying this material, I wouldn't understand what a lot of this says. So this is very confusing for the average, ordinary person. Most people don't have hours a day like I do to spend on studying, defining words, and really understanding their roots and how these words really came about. Man, it's windy right now. So let's get some examples of self-deception. Here's some types of it. It says denial. Minimization and rationalization are the more garden variety versions of self-deception. They're well known and as a consequence more easily identified. And so really think about this. Have you ever been in denial? Like if I tell you right now, eating a plant-based lifestyle can help extend your longevity, help possibly naturally reverse some of the issues you're having, and be able to take you off of most of your medications. Now listen to that. What is the first thing that comes to you? Are you in denial? Are you minimizing the effects of what I just said can happen? Or are you just rationalizing why you need to continue eating the way you are? One of the things that most people do, I can't do that. I would die if I just ate plants. I couldn't live without eating meat. That is a lie. I and plenty of other vegans and plant-based and vegetarian people have been living long lives without eating meat. You don't need to eat meat. The main reason most people eat meat, and here's just the exact truth, most people only eat meat because they think they need protein. However, they don't have an understanding that protein does not come from animals. Protein comes from plants. Animals are just a derivative. We're getting the protein from a second derivative, instead of getting it from the exact plants. Protein comes through the photosynthesis of the sunlight, the air, the water, and the ground. All of those are combining. It's creating different amino acids and different type of long chain, short chain amino acids. And this is where protein comes from. Every animal in this world eats plants, one way or another. Even the carnivores like a tiger or a lion, you will see when they get sick, they will go eat grass. If you have a cat or dog, they are prime examples of this. Whenever a cat or dog has an upset stomach, they want to go outside and eat grass because they know they naturally know at a subconscious level for their simple conscious state that eating the grass is going to help relieve whatever's going on with them. So why us as humans don't know this too? And it's probably because we're living a life of self-deceit. And really think about this. What has really been stopping you from getting areas of success in your life? If you would have came to me, if you tell me you were born, I would say from the 1960s or 1970s and back and earlier, meaning 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, 10s, you can probably have a valid reason to why you were not able to be successful growing up in those days and age. I don't have that reason. Other people around me who grew up in the area that I grew up in and afterwards, we do not have the reason to say that there was literally someone stopping us from being able to be successful in life. You know, one of the things I talk to people here all the time is all of us are walking around with supercomputers in our hand and crying about how we don't have opportunity. Now, I have 2 phones. I've seen a lot of people with 2, 3, 4 phones. Most people have more expensive phones than me. Like if you have an iPhone, your phone is way more expensive than mine. Meaning you have all the possibilities in your world that you can, in your hands, that you can get to increase whatever you want in your world. If you want to eat healthier, literally all you have to do is go on YouTube, hey, how to eat healthy. Tons of videos are going to come up. Some may be accurate, some may not be. It doesn't matter. The thing that matters is, are you doing your part to actually get one step closer to your goal? Because remember, success is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. And if you're not progressively moving, I didn't go from 600 pounds to eating plant-based. That is not how that happened at all. I wish it would have happened. My life would have been a lot easier, a lot sooner, and I would have been happier sooner. However, I went from 600 pounds. I stopped. First, we had cut out sugar. Then we made sure we would cut out any milk and stuff like that. Then we started cutting out a lot of chemicals in our home. I started making my own laundry detergent. And you may be like, man, you were focused on trying to lose weight and you started cleaning up chemicals in your house. It's a progressive realization of a worthy idea. Like, it doesn't make sense when even I talk about it now. Like, why did I go to chemical free? However, it was a progressive realization. Because of me going chemical free, it stopped me from doing other things. It stopped me from eating certain things. Because I went chemical free, it made me become aware of how much aluminum is inside a lot of products that we use, such as toothpaste, such as deodorant. There's a lot of harmful chemicals that are inside a lot of things that people use on a daily basis. And they don't understand that could be part of the reason why you may be having this addiction to cheese. You may be having this addiction to junk food. You may be having this addiction to sweets. It literally is something that you're putting in your body. Most people, when they look at a thing of toothpaste, they don't read the label. They have no clue what that stuff in there. And if you did read the label, I guarantee you 90% of the list, you would not have a clue what it is. There's so many different ways they can label aluminum legally. In America, at least. I don't know about South Africa, but in America, at least. So you want to become aware of this stuff. Like, stop minimizing things. Stop being in denial that something can help or make things better. And stop rationalizing things. One of the things that Bob Proctor said, rationalizing means we are rationing lies to ourselves. Meaning, literally, this is self-deceit. We're telling ourselves something that just isn't true. And so, this is, I wanted to give you this today because I thought this was really, really good. It's been going hand in hand with the success puzzle. And it was just interesting reading this today because it started making me realize, and I started getting better understanding, what are some ways right now as I'm moving and progressing to becoming to be this billionaire entrepreneur that I know that I am. What are some of the self-deceit, the things that I'm doing? How am I in denial of myself? How am I minimizing my potential? And how am I rationalizing the BS that, people say is true, when the fact is, it's not true. No one knows my full potential. No one knows your full potential except you. And only you can reach it and actually refine that potential that's in you. And so, hope you got some value from this. If you haven't read this book, Og Mandino, The Greatest Salesman in the World, this is part 2. I highly recommend reading 1 if you haven't read 2 yet. And if you haven't read 1, pick up part 2. It's a really good one. And we're going to be doing more videos like this later on, where I'm actually going through some of the readings that I do, because I know a lot of people like, how do you read? How do you study? So like to let you know, like I read 1 chapter a day when I do books like this. Now that I've finished the whole book, there's certain chapters I read over and over again, but I don't read the whole chapter. I read paragraphs. And that's how this paragraph stood out to me. Because once I read it, I was like, I had to ask myself, like, are there ways that I'm practicing self-deception and not aware of it? And because I couldn't honestly answer that with a yes or no, I knew that meant there's self-deception within me. There's still a veil of self-deceit within me. Because if I knew it wasn't there, I would be able to recognize it and say no clearly. And so that's about it. That's it for this book. Make sure you pick it up. And also, when I talk about books, let me just say this real quick. You do not have to go and spend money on books anymore. Like, we have to get away from a lot of this. The reason why I have certain books is I like the energy. I like to hold it. I like to flip pages. Like, as you see, I do a lot of highlighting and things like this. You can download just about any book, especially professional development books. You can get them on YouTube for free. Like, there's usually an audio book for just about every major professional development book there is made. And if there's not one, guess what? That's a way for you to make money. You can get the book, record a video on YouTube of just reading it. And people will probably start watching your video. After a couple of years, you can monetize. See how that is? Very simple solution. And it's all about how the attitude is. And because if you have an attitude for success, only successful things will come your way. It's been proven by the law of attraction. And so if you want what you want in life, you have to go and achieve it.